Hey, this is Paul Evans, the 1010.life. We continue to look at our bodies and we're looking at marathon. Do not get excited. We're not talking about running a marathon. I did do a half marathon one time, and it was only because of ego that I felt pressured. And I had a buddy of mine that was getting in shape, and I gave in. Now, I did not win the half marathon, but I did finish it, which was a huge goal. 1 Corinthians 6:19, for you've been bought with a price, therefore honor the Lord with your body. That's what it's all about in this section, to make sure that our body is as strong as possible, in shape as much as possible, without getting insane, so that we can serve as long as possible. And that's what the marathon is about. Instead of being frustrated about life, about direction, about what we need to be doing, we want to have flow. We don't want our life to feel like it's this constant weight, this constant burden, this constant, what else is there and is there more? And even some people are living in this constant mediocrity. But instead, with a marathon, we set a long-term vision for our life so that we see ourselves going after things to promote the best and to be the best long term, so that we don't get to the end of our life and wonder if we actually contributed. Philippians 3:12, not that I've already obtained all this or I've already arrived at my goal, but I press on to take hold of that for which Christ Jesus took hold of me. At this point in his ministry, a lot of people would have felt like Paul had really attained it, that he had reached a really high level. He was well known. He was highly regarded. He had written many epistles by this time and was really at the top level when it comes to the church, notoriety, things along those lines, which he often actually suffered with. He didn't really like the idea, but he was making a major impact. But even though he is already at a very high level as far as worldly standards go, he says, not that I've already attained this, or I've arrived at my goal, but I press on. So regardless of what we accomplish, we want to continue pushing and pressing and becoming better regardless of our age. But there are several reasons why we tend not to have a marathon view of life. Number one is we can really be overwhelmed by the present. It's just not always easy to live. The day-to-day is not always fun. And that's one of the reasons we need to have a longer term vision, so that today does not wear us out. That we know that this is just one contribution to our life. It's not our life, but we can be overwhelmed by the present. Secondly, we can be trapped by the past, either by a hurt or a pain. And when we talk about fire and beliefs, we're going to discover how we use that to the benefit of the lives of other people. But we can be trapped by the past, and it can paralyze us. Or we can feel like we've got a string of failures, and so we just don't try again. So we're trapped in the past for that. Or maybe we did something that people know about and it's not good. And so our reputation is so bad that we feel like that traps us somewhat and keeps us from moving forward. We can also be fuzzy about the future. Often we just don't know what it is that we want to do. And we've got some ideas and we've had some thoughts, but we've not really clarified those. That's why we began this whole study with mission, to know that we've got to work and serve is really the goal overall. And so that can be the starting point and the catalyst for your future, but you've also got to sit down and think about it on what it is that you want to attain, why you want to attain that, and what impact it's going to have. But often we look in the future, we've got a lot of good ideas, but we're not just super clear. And then we're uncertain about the plan. Even if we got clear about what we wanted to do, we wouldn't know how to do it. So it really makes us feel like, yeah, I'd like to do that, but how? So what I want to encourage you to do is to actually live your legacy. People talk all the time about leaving a legacy, but let's live it. Let's not just wait till after we're gone that people are going to look back at our life and they're going to see some good stuff, but instead we decide to do stuff, to intentionally be alive right now, to intentionally contribute right now, to intentionally make a difference right now, so that it is clear what we're doing. With 1010, I think body, beliefs, and business, as much as I'm hitting this in this framework, is really clear, right? It's clear this based on John 10:10. I've come that they may have life, may have it more abundantly, or have life to the full. So this is part of the legacy that I'm living, not just the legacy that I'm leaving. So I'm very in control of the direction of my life. Now, this is something obviously that I enjoy doing, and we're going to use it as an example in a minute, but it could be anything. It could be that you're going to be a godly worker at your job. That's a great legacy to live. It really is. It does not have to be this vision or this crazy goal. It can be very, very simple. Some of us, like I mentioned Sam and Stephen in the last training, some of us really want to make sure that we're making a difference in the lives of our family and our friends. So intentionally, we engage those relationships, and intentionally, we live our legacy instead of just hoping that the relationships turn out right. So we want to have a focus when it comes to the marathon of our life. We want to look long term, but we also want to have that driver, that element that we're constantly concentrating on. I've got a product called Launch Your Year, and this is one of the resources in it, but I put it in 1010 because I think it's extremely helpful for having that marathon approach to life. So it begins with the theme for the year or your vision. This could be your life vision. It doesn't have to just be for a year, but I like to use a year. So from that vision, what are your 12-month goals? What are some of the things that you want to happen within 12 months? It doesn't have to be 12 months. I like the 12-week year that is by Brian Moran, and it's a great resource, but most of us are geared toward the 12-year goal, the 12-month goal, 1-year goal, and then 90 days. We're going to chunk it down and have projects over 90 days, things that we're going to clearly contribute to the 1-year goal over a 90-day period, and then my sprint. What am I going to be doing this week? So my vision it's a high-level view, like 30,000-foot view. My goal is a 20,000-foot view. My project's a 10,000-foot view. And my sprint is at sea level. It's right here on the ground. It's what I'm doing immediately. So what would this look like? So let's say that my theme for the year is amplify, that I want my life to become louder, that I've got some decent things going on, but we need to really turn up the volume on that. So I make my 12-month goals. Let's say I want to write a book. I want to weigh 175 pounds with 12% body fat. I want to grow as a small group leader at church, increase my income by $50,000, and gain 50,000 Facebook fans at my page online. So let's say those are my goals. So my 90-day project is that I may need to write 3 chapters in 90 days. I want to have 3 workouts per week and 3 cardio per week, as we looked at under muscle. I'm going to join a small group membership program so that I can learn about becoming a more effective small group leader. I'm going to launch a course to increase my income, and I'm going to run Facebook ads to the top 3 influencers in my area to increase my Facebook fans. So this week, I'm going to write 2,500 words toward those 3 chapters. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday is going to be my resistance training for muscle. I'm going to study Module 3 of the small group membership site. I'm going to outline the course that I'm going to release. I'm going to record a video ad and place it on Facebook for a specific influencer. So that gets me all the way from the big vision all the way down to what I'm doing this week to make it happen. So that's your assignment. What's your theme? What's your 12-month goal, your 90-day project, and what are you going to do this week? Now, with your theme, I wouldn't mind you breaking that in half and having a theme for the year and then having a theme for life. Like probably my theme for life has been for probably the past 5 years is 10-10. Even though I'm just now recording this course, for me, it was just a personal existence that I want to live life to the full. So 10-10 is my overall encompassing vision, amplifies my vision for this year. What's going to be your vision? I encourage you to choose one word that you're going to concentrate on that you want your life to really revolve around. It's a word that you can always come back to, that'll act as a trigger. It will recenter you. It'll refocus you when you feel like you're getting out of bounds or you're starting to get unclear. So it pulls you back. When you've got your 12-month goals written down, you know exactly what you're supposed to be working on. Your projects for 90 days, you know the actual steps and big markers that you're going to need to take to be getting to the 1-year goal. And then your sprint is what you're doing this week. So you've always got that in front of you. What does this all boil down to? living an intentional life. A marathon life is in flow and not frustrated because of intention. You know what you're doing, you know why you're doing it. So let me hit these real quick one more time to give you an overview of what the vision looks like, what goals look like, projects, and activities. So make sure you fill that sheet out for yourself. I've also got a resource that you can see at the 1010 Life. And also, it's here on Udemy. It's called 5 Stones. If you're wanting to learn goal setting to an even larger extent, a deeper level, the 5 Stones High Achiever System will take you step by step into creating and achieving your goals. So we've covered body. Your mission is to work and serve. Your mana is to use nutrition as fuel. Your muscle is to create a functioning body that can serve you and serve others. And your marathon is a long-term life vision so that you're living your legacy. You're not just leaving your legacy. Next, we'll dive into beliefs, and we'll begin with our faith, diving into that anchor and that foundation of everything that we do. I'll see you in that video. Live full.